So what's up? Welcome to the show. I am Prince Marcel, and we here to get your mind right as a royal because you're not leading. Yes, I'm talking to you men. You may not be leading, and to our women in our community, we trying to get you to really understand what it means to represent a queen. Because when in the culture, when we say, what's up, king? Hey, queen, how you doing? Are we living like that? And one of the things I realized was your thought process, right? And it took me a while to get through this. If this is your first time viewing my show, I've been an entrepreneur. I've been in knowledge of self. I've been on this journey for about 5 years. But today's show is going to really be about in 2025, what's your thought process? Do you got a wealth mindset or do you got a poor mindset? And it really stems from my goals, even going into 2025 to 2030, right? If you're in the entrepreneurship world or even financial literacy world, you kind of understand that we at a pinnacle. Like the kingdom is at a turning point of if you don't get it together, it's about to be detrimental, right? The kingdom is not going to survive if we don't really come together, utilize our economical power, our intellectual power, like hold our crowns high. We're gonna be in some trouble. So for me, and we're gonna go back to the beginning, right? I remember growing up. I'm from an inner city. I'm from Chicago to be specifically, but growing up in the inner city, how far you thought you was gonna go in life, it really was okay. What does my four corners look like, right? Who was in front of me that could be an example, especially for a male? I didn't know, didn't see, couldn't hear the other excellent, black, excellent, brilliant, and excellent men who could show me what it was like. It was the corner boy. It was the trapper. You know what I'm saying? That was it. It was Mr. Flash with the 22s on his whip. Like that was the majority of what was in front of me, or people trying to get to that point, right? And BMFs of the world. And it wasn't until later in life I discovered that, you can be successful, you can be fly, you can have the 22s, but you can also be excellent. You could be a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? You could dress in a tailored suit, right? You could be flying a polo, have all the things that you want to give to your mom. Shout out to all the mothers recently on Mother's Day. And that impacted me too, which is why I'm talking about mindset for this show today. Because of all the things that I started to learn around the time about 25, to be honest, right? I'm 30 now, or be 30 in December. And for me, there was a pivotal moment, right? It's a pivotal moment where my language changed and it went from, bro, that's not possible. It's not achievable. We only get to this salary, this income, our credit score is only this high to no, it just depends on how I'm gonna get there, right? And the layers and opportunities of how I'm going to get there. There was no can't, right? It's how am I going to get there? That's where I think our people need to be, especially the kingdom needs to be when it comes to getting our finances together, getting our communities together, getting our families together. How we gonna get this done? Not we can't get this done. And even now, right? It's gonna sound wild to you, right? Especially when I clip this up. Poor mindset or poor me would have said, dang, bro, trying to get to 15, $20,000 in a year. I don't know if that's possible. Huh? I don't see how you gonna do that. The wealth mindset me says, all right, bro, these is your top three ways to get to 15 to 20K in a year, right? you need to make anywhere from 1,500 because it's 12 months in a year. So to get to 15, you need to make extra 500 to $1,000 on top of each month, right? You break it down. And one of the things that I teach my mentees as a wealth mentor, and we talk about this to all our mentees. Shout out to Champs, my mentor, but in general, it's a good habit, right? Smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, uh, what is realistic, or and then the time frame in which you're going to get there. Once you do that, you got it. So I'm gonna give you one on the market side. And because I've actually done this, so this is one of the other breakthroughs of the cultural disparities and how my mindset changed, right? I've actually made $1,000 in a day. I've actually made $500 in a day on top of my 9 to 5, any other income, my main income, anything that's bringing money into my household, right? And it ain't the block, it ain't the corner, is legal. It's the market, right? It's the stock market. So on top of, I got to check, right? I have some form of stability, and there's nothing wrong with working. You can gain wealth even while you're working. It's just you have to restructure. What are you doing with the money that's coming into your house? Not wasting it. How is it growing, right? What are you investing in? Or is there anything that you own? Is there any startups, any businesses, right? These are the type of things that even everyday people in our community can do, and we can all have this lifestyle that brings us wealth, that brings us enjoyment, that brings us peace. So, going back to one realistic way you can actually make $15,000 extra in a year, trading. The stock market gives you the ability to take any extra income, right? 250,000, not 250,000, $250, right? That you can say, hey, this is the extra amount of money when I'm not buying J's, when I'm not buying Gucci, when I'm not buying 5 Hennessy bottles in the club, that I actually save every month, right? Now, I'm not saying that, yes, it's going to take some sacrifices for you to do this, but this is possible if this is the actual goal. $250 every 2 weeks, $500 a month, right? 500 to $1,000 a month, right? And depending on where you are, you can save 1,000. All right. Let's say Apple. People love using Apple as a great. Apple is the ABC of examples, right? I think Apple's at 200 right now, 210. And we're going to use today's examples, or today's things that are impacting the market in this example. So if things truly ease with the global economic arguments, right? Tariff wars, Asian countries talking this way, American countries talking this way, the Western world talking this way. If everybody comes to the head and be like, hey, bro, you know what? I was talking outside of my neck. Yeah, bro, I was talking outside of my neck. But to be honest, it's stopping the flow of the money, and ain't nobody eating out here. So what we gonna do? We come to an agreement. Now all the people that are up under, Hefe and Honcho and them, the money, they say, hey, yo, the money finna keep flowing. Y'all good. Y'all keep working. The money finna keep flowing. Y'all good. Y'all keep working. So in the regards of the market and Apple, if you were to trade using that $500, and this is more so in the options, but even if it was futures or just trading in general, you can make extra income. This side is going to play out. So Monday, right? Monday, good news comes out. Now the iPhones don't cost as much. They're not going to be $2,000 to get your new iPhone. It might be 1,200, right? It might be extra 200 on top because of inflation, taxes, and growing technology. But the overall Apple company is like, oh, okay, we cool. We got to make, raise a few prices over years, but overall we good. The motion gonna keep motioning, and the money finna keep flowing. So the overall company assesses that and says, okay, now we got new projections for what's going to go on in 2026. So now you say, all right, with all this information that I got, maybe Monday morning, I say, I put that 500 in. I say, in 2 weeks, if Apple's at 200, I say Apple can get to 205 for sure, and it could run to 210, 212, right? Before it may trade sideways. We in the money. That 500 can turn into 1,000, 1,300, especially if it runs to 210. You've made an extra $500 to $700 in the same 2 weeks. Remember, you still working, you still getting paid. So when I say the average person, the everyday person can do this, you can do this. On the first of the month, you put that trade in by the 15th, then by the same time that you get paid, you look up, you got an extra $700 in your pocket. Now what we talking about? Do that twice a month. What you got? That 15 I was just telling you about. So when I say it's not about what you don't think is possible, it's about when you learn what is, right? And what strategies and strategic ways in your thought process. The moment I culturally shifted what was possible for me, especially as a black man, it was over with. There is no more, this number is too big, man, that's impossible for me to get to. Now it's about, hey, bro, which avenue we going to take now to get to that? We're going to do the startup. We're going to do the fix it flip. We're going to do the market. Which one we doing? And because we have, just like when I say I'm a wealth mentor, I have a mentor and a stock market. So they've seen it, gave me the game. I know it's possible. I have mentors in the real estate market. I've seen them. These are black people at that too. I know it's possible. I got to get to this number to do that, right? I got mentors, men and women who are in the startup business, the entrepreneurship business, the restaurant business, bro. So I know it's possible to make that avenue, make that money there. So the reason why, especially why I keep doing the show, is because I ain't just out here saying I'm a warrior. I'm conducting myself as a great man, great entrepreneur, and a thought leader. I believe that, I perceive that, and I act that out. Right? We ain't playing. Right? I'm not a royal for nothing, man. But always tap in, hit the like button, hit the share button, love and support y'all, and then we're gonna holler at y'all later. But you know how that's gonna go.